गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। टुडे वी गोइंग टू डू समथिंग वेरी डिफरेंट and let me explain to you why. There are a lot of questions which have come up whether India is a strong democracy or an elected autocracy. But I'll come to that later, and we need to settle this once and for all for ourselves, at least for those who are on my channel and who will read. Right, what is this cartoon which I put? I must explain this cartoon to you. Right, you see this cartoon where the common man. Who's the common man? The common man is the one who is a common Indian, like all of us. And this common man was immortalized by one of the best, cartoonists we ever had in our country, R.K. Lakshman. I had the great privilege and honor of meeting him 2-3 times, and in fact, later in his later years, he was in a bad shape, and I met him in the Southern Command Hospital in Pune, and of course, God bless his soul wherever he is. He had this habit of coming out with what the common man thought, and if you see this, cartoon, which is very old. The common man is very important when the votes are to be cast. At that time, all politicians are after him. The moment the votes are cast, he becomes small and the politicians become big. Right? And how true? Is this only about India? Or if you have a look at it, is this only about India? That look, here he is so tall when he used to put the vote, all netas are around him and begging him to put votes. The moment that is done, the netas have become big and the common man is small. Is it true only of us? No, it's true of everyone, isn't it? And does this become autocracy, that netas become big and then what do you call USA today? It's worse than an autocracy, right? And so that's it. And why did I take this subject? Why did I take this subject? I took this subject because I got fed up of listening to this. Someone comes out with saying, is India an autocracy? Why is India's democracy dying? Okay. Things like the world's biggest democracy is jettisoning freedom and tolerance. And these are from, big tabloids and media, Western media with influence like New York Times and all that. Is it an electoral autocracy? This is BBC, the downgrading of India's democracy, right? Then there's a BDEM, some kind of a institution which says India falls further in liberal democracy. It is 100 out of 179. Okay. Then this came out last year sometime that India's democracy is no good. And Modi's India is where global democracy dies. Right? And India is okay, this is something we've seen. Now, these articles, why do they come out? Why do they come out? I mean, that's the thing which one has to understand. Motivated people who feel that, look, what, they want to run down India. People who are not, aligned to what is happening in India. Is it the Indian opposition? Is it vested interest? Or is it all of above? I think it's all of above. There will be vested interest to ensure that India is portrayed in a poor light. There will be people who genuinely don't understand what is in India. There are people who want to judge India by their standards or their perceived standards. Let me put it, not their standard, their perceived standards. There will be people who want to, say India is a useless country, all that. Right. So that's how, and very interestingly, many of these articles are written by Indians who are not living in India but outside. There are also many of them who are not happy, who I wouldn't say disgruntled, they're not in, they're in the opposition. And since they don't get traction here and they don't get, uh, leeway here to express what they want, they get to express, but they don't get any this thing. So they go abroad and speak and write and get brownie points internationally. All this was going on. Then you have all these indices which are coming out, which are all motivated indices, the way I look at it, because they take a set of 10 parameters or 20 parameters and carry out rankings as per those 20 parameters based on some survey which we don't know how they do it. And they don't, it doesn't matter them what, what are the peculiarities of each country or each situation, and the 10 things they have to answer, and over a thing of 1 to 10 or whatever their metrics are, they put it, and then you have, and persistently if you see India's ranking has been going down in democracy. But interestingly, very interestingly, this came out with Pew Research. Now everyone knows Pew Research gives out research the way it is. What does it say? It's about democracy and people who are satisfied with democracy and not satisfied with democracy. And this graph, let me explain to you first. This graph at the top is of the number of people who are dissatisfied with their democracy. This is the green line represents the percentage of people who are satisfied with democracy. Dissatisfied, satisfied. And this graph, and this is for 12 countries surveyed since 2017. So this is a long-term survey from 2017 to now. It's not short-term. It's a long-term survey. That's the first thing. And it's of developed countries. Canada, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, UK, and US. Now, when all this was there, a median of 64% of adults of these developed countries said that they are dissatisfied with their democracy. Now, that's a telling figure. Right. In that same thing, they gave out another graph, and this is the most interesting graph. And this is the graph which shows majorities in many countries which are dissatisfied with democracy. So this is the level of dissatisfaction. Here is the level of satisfaction. Okay. Now, interestingly, if you see, Sweden has only 25% of people who are dissatisfied with their democracy. 75% are very happy with it. And after that, India. India has only 23% who are dissatisfied with their democracy, and 74% are happy with it. Sweden stands first because 75% are happy with their democracy. And we are second because it is 74. The rest are all far below. If you see, the nearest is, of course, Indonesia, which comes to 66, and Australia 60, above 60, right? And Germany and Netherlands, they are on the 60s, and the rest are all unsatisfied. Okay, you take a country like US, 62% are dissatisfied with their democracy. So what does it tell you? Is it the people who decide what is good for themselves and they're happy with their democracy? Or is it these guys who write in the media or these guys who conduct surveys and put out global rankings? Right? And it is just not that. Let's take it a little beyond. In the same analysis, it's got 3 slides. This is the first slide. This is the second slide. And the third graphic is this. This is another interesting graphic which they put out. What does it show? It shows countries where more people feel good about the economy also have greater satisfaction with the democracy. So if people of a country are happy and are satisfied, that is what it is being shown here. Look at this. Look at India. It's at the top. It implies that India is most satisfied with its democracy, and it's most happy about its. They feel good about the economy. So right, and the others like South Korea, which is supposed to be develop this thing, are the most unhappy about their own economy and their democracy. No wonder you see in a place like South Korea that the president is being impeached, DAO and all that. Okay, you look at a country like US, it's in the center. No one else comes near us except Indonesia and Netherlands. I mean, just think. The people in India are happy with their democracy. The people in India are happy about their economic condition and what that democracy has given to them. Why are people outside in New York Times and in USA and the Democratic Index feel that we are in an autocracy? And which country, I go back to this thing, you go back to this R.K. Lakshman's cartoon. Okay, before votes are there, the voter is the big man. After the votes come, he is the small man. And he's thereafter he's an autocratic world. Isn't it true of everyone? Why is it true only of India? Was India less democratic when Mrs. Indira Gandhi was in chair, or more autocratic when Mr. Modi is in chair, or chaotic in between? Are these things? These are questions which we have to answer, right? If India is happy with the leader it chooses, why are others unhappy, right? And what's more interesting is, there are a lot of people who are unhappy with what's happening in India. I agree with them. That's opposition, that's democracy. They're free to write what they want against the present government. I agree with them, that's democracy. But India has some fabulous strengths. And that is something which, doesn't seem to be coming out. Right? I mean, just think, if India was the autocracy, elected autocracy, as which the likes, which many people talk of, how is it that there are so many opposition parties which are ruling today? Where important states, look at Kerala, which is the most educated state, right? And you have a communist combination leading the uh, state or governing the state. Look at Tamil Nadu. The mainstream parties have never come anywhere near. Look at Karnataka. Every 5 years there's a flip. Look at a place like Telangana where there's an opposition ruling. Is it that only, I mean, so you have to see this duality. Look at West Bengal. The reasons are different, but the fact remains that opposition people do come and they govern. It's not as if they're not out, they're out. So there's a plurality. You might like a particular government or not. You might like the central government or not. Okay? But the fact is that plurality is there. So if it is a plurality and it is tolerated, then why is it called an elected autocracy? It's a democracy. We are choosing whom we want. A chap in UP says, I want only BJP. So be it. Yeah? That's his way of looking at it. Right? That's his way of looking at it. That's what he wants. Tomorrow, Bihar is going to elections. They might elect the BJP, they might elect some other party. A JD or RD or whatever, RJD. That's their choice. It's still up in the grabs. If you see the electoral story which is going on, a lot of decisions being taken by every politician, every talk of his is oriented to see how does it impact my chances of getting re-elected in Bihar. That's democracy. After that, if the People of Bihar decide they want to have a BJP government, all the best to them. If they want a repeat of Janata Dal government, all the best to them. Or RJD, all the best. It is their story, isn't it? As far as that government delivers for them, the people of India have selected. In the last elections, we had a majority government with BJP. This time it's a coalition government because the people of India have decided so. Have the people of India decided wrongly? I don't think so. Look at this. Yeah. Look at this. This came out today. Today morning I saw. India has better income equality than G7 and G20. It's got one of the best income equalities. I mean, you can differ with their methods, but it gives you an indication. This is not a ranking. Okay. And then they also say that extreme poverty. Look at this. You look at the one today which has come out. India now fourth most equal country globally, says World Bank. This is a World Bank report. And extreme poverty dips sharply. Income inequality narrows between 2011 and 2023. And we heard that earlier also. Right? In the past few years, the number of people who have been lifted out of extreme poverty is equivalent to one Pakistan. We've lifted one Pakistan completely out of economic poverty or extreme poverty. It's not a mere achievement. Could it have been possible by an elected autocracy? If the government of India is an elected autocracy and this is what we have achieved for ourselves, so be it, it's very good. If the people of India, it's the people who matter. It is not some foreign journalist or some tabloid or some other country or some propaganda from Pakistan or China which matters. I mean, if you notice one thing, China comments a lot about India, but it never comments about its democracy. It never comments about its democracy. Okay. So, if after all this, the people of India say, okay, this autocrat is, doing good for me. He has lifted me out of poverty. Whatever he is doing for my economy, he is doing good. Well, I want that autocrat around. As simple as that. Right? And then the next issue which we have to understand is that is democracy a factor of today or day before yesterday or history? You have to look at your democratic antecedents over a long period of time. What have people of India decided for themselves? There's an immutable fact. The immutable fact is this, that every 5 years, a politician, it doesn't matter who he is, has to go and stand in front of the common man, like it's shown by R.K. Lakshman, and beg for his votes. You have to literally beg for his votes. And then you see every politician saying, oh, I've done this, I'll do this. All kinds of promises. Isn't it? That's a fact. If he doesn't convince the people, he's out. He's got no scope, he has got no role. And once he's out, he's out. Till he again goes back to people and says, no, I did a mistake, whatever it was, get me re-elected. So it is in this context that we need to see our own history. What have we done? When you say it's an elected autocracy, is it so? Without understanding our history. You look at this graphic, right from independence. This gives the complete thing of all our prime ministers from there. I'm just talking of prime ministers. I could apply this for any other. You look at Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi here, you look at Indira Gandhi. For this time period, right, 68, 70s up to 77, she was undisputed leader of India and she was thrown out in this period, Janta period, 77 to 80. And then she came back. The people threw her out and brought her back. Same thing when Rajiv Gandhi died, right? And we had a set of equations which people said no, and something else happened. So let's examine this one by one. The sixth Lok Sabha, 77 to 80. We had, the Janta government, Janta Party government led by Morarji Desai and later by Chaudhry Charan Singh. Right? And India voted for it. And when India voted for it, it gave a fractured mandate and it gave a new hope. I wouldn't say a fractured mandate, a mandate for change. And at that time, for those of you who probably were not around at that point of time, right? And it gave. I was just about getting commissioned, 77. I still remember 77 June listening to, the results of Janta Dal victory at that point of time as I was going from IMA Dehradun back to my home. So we said, no, we don't want an autocrat. And that autocrat called Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she had become an autocrat, there's no doubt about it. Also felt that, look, I can't continue without elections. This is the emergency period and all. She scrapped the emergency, went for elections, lost. And I think that was the biggest democratic value she had. She went back to the people. The people rejected her and brought, Morarji Desai, and when he fell, the next person. The internal contradictions of that multi-party democracy. And we went into another elections, and people said we want Indira Gandhi back. They brought back. Of course, she died, and that's history. Okay. And then you look at the next one. You look at the time of when you see, right, after Rajiv Gandhi's death, what happened? Right, we still had the National Front government at that time. We had two prime ministers in that period. We had VP Singh and also, Chandrasekhar. This is the period of Mandir and Mandal and all that story. Again, we went through perturbations, instability, weakness, right? And then of course, before this, right, then we came after this VP Singh's government and Chandrasekhar government, we chose stability. That stability came through a minority government. And when Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao was the prime minister. And when that government finished its term, the BJP came. India said, no, we don't want this anymore. We want something else. Okay. And even then, at that time, there was a fractured mandate. Okay. There was a fractured mandate. That's the 8th Lok Sabha. There was a fractured mandate. 96 to 98. We had Vajpayee's government, then we had, 2-3 other government, Devagowda government, Indra Kumar Gujral's government. All this we had. In fact, during 99 Kargil war, Mr. Vajpayee was a makeshift prime minister. Interim prime minister. It was not a proper government also. We went through that. We famously called the Khichdi governments. These three, which is shown here. Okay? Sorry. Yeah. Famously called the Khichdi governments of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, just there just for about 2 weeks. Then Deve Gowda and Inder Kumar Gujral. And then, of course, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee came back in 2000 as the prime minister till 2004. just after the Kargil war. I still remember, uh, you know, the elections, and I'll come to that. And then, of course, you had Mr. Manmohan Singh, 2004 to 2014, and then now, does this whole thing, is there been one unitary person who has ruled? No. If you analyze, India has chosen wisely. India chose what it wanted. The people of India chose what they wanted. Is Mr. Modi permanent here? Maybe, maybe not. But he's got his lifespan. After that, he'll go. Someone else will come. If the BJP doesn't give a good, is the people a good leadership to the nation, or it doesn't throw up the next generation leadership, India will experiment. I have no doubts about it. If the last election was any indication, if in the next election the leaders don't get thrown up, we might have a completely fractured coalition. It's all about the leadership. And that's how it is. As simple as that. Okay, then people, I've seen someone saying, oh, General Shankar doesn't talk about politics and all that. Why is he speaking today? I felt honestly that, when this World Bank results came out and the Pew Research came out, this is the truth of India. This is the alternate truth of India, or rather the real truth of India. People who don't know talk nonsense. This is the truth of India which has to come out. People of India always choose wisely. Now, let me give you my own impressions. You might say, oh, you just narrated all this over a long period of time. Uh, I was unfortunate in the sense, till I became a general, I couldn't vote because I was all over the country doing everything. But I was fortunate in one thing. I was involved in conducting elections in 3 different places and for 3 different elections. For Lok Sabha elections, for Vidhan Sabha elections, and district elections, important elections in respective places. So let me explain to you why I feel democracy in India is strong. It's not an autocracy by any stretch of imagination. The first time, Punjab, 91, 91, 92, 92 in fact. I was a major, and we had gone to Punjab. Punjab was still smoldering. It didn't have. It was under governor's rule. People wanted to hold elections and get democracy back, so that there's an elected government in place and not a instituted government. And they deployed the army. Things were still out of control. Right, the Khalistan movement was in full blast. It took 6 months for us to get things under control with additional troops, all that. In that 6 months, you know, I was in a place called Sarhind, and I was just a battery commander with a small set of. I had one district, one part of the district, a place called Mandi Gobindgarh, Sarhind, that area. Today, Sarhind is a district of its own. Okay, Sarhind, it's called Fatehgarh Sahib district, and Fatehgarh Sahib Gurdwara is there. That's a place where it's historic. Guru Gobind's sons were killed and they're plastered into the wall by Aurangzeb. That's a historic thing. And we were around that area. Mandi Gobind got the steel city of Punjab. I was part of that. So we got things under control, militancy under control. We started re-establishing our links with the people, and the elections were ordered. The people were still sullen. They didn't want to cast their vote. I used to interact freely with people. By then, a lot of people, villagers and all that. Yeah, I have been to Fatehgarh Sahib Gurdwara and many times, and I'll come to it. I'll keep this question up and I'll come to it. So, right, people were not prepared to vote. and people were not happy with the elections, but elections had to be held. So the government machinery got in, declared elections, and we went to polls. Surprisingly, in rural areas, people voted in reasonable numbers. Why rural Punjab? Not rural, urban Punjab. Sorry, cities, urban Punjab. People voted in good numbers, and all those voted were largely Hindus, and they voted largely for BJP. BJP first time came into some prominence in that election. In rural Punjab, the voting was very low. In certain places, it was almost non-existent. And there, Congress won, and the margin of victory was just about 20 or 30. Why 20 or 30? Only 20 or 30 per voting, booth voted. More than that, they didn't vote also. I remember motivating people to vote. A few villages where I used to say, why don't you vote? These chaps have brought them here so that you exercise your franchise. I used to walk and talk to, village headman. Then say, yeah, please vote. He says, sir, you're saying we believe you, will go and vote. A few chaps went and voted. And based on those votes, a party came into power. I mean, this is what the army did everywhere. Right? We regained trust of people. People regained trust in democracy. People voted. A party came into power. I think the chief minister at that point of time was later killed also. Notwithstanding that, everything survived. Today, Punjab is back to normal. It has its problems, but largely it's back to normal. I feel proud of that. Democracy came back to rails. And when we landed there first time, democracy was just not, forget democracy, terrorism was at its peak. Now, let me recount what happened. Sorry. Yeah. Have you ever been to Fatehgarh Sahib Gurdwara? Yes. Fatehgarh Sahib Gurdwara, was supposed to be a hotbed where all these terrorists used to hide. Okay. And in that area, I became well known because I was controlling these chaps quite a lot. And, there's this Jod festival which happens in winter. Jod festival, we did a lot of control. And as a result of Jod festival and the control which we excised and all that, and the elections were held after that and everything went over. And I was at the end of that tenure. The unit was to go back. It was in the May of 92, right? May of 92, yeah, May of 92. So elections over and all that. And before I was to go back, I said, look, I want to go to Fatehgarh Sahib Gurdwara. So people said, don't go to Fatehgarh Sahib Gurdwara because there'll be problems for you. I said, let me see. I'm going to this Gurdwara with goodness in my heart. If people have to kill me, so be it. And I took a lot of, from our unit, enough wheat and sabji and dal and all that, and sugar and everything, and oil for 1 day's longer in that Gurdwara, and I gave it. I went, gave it, and came back. Nothing happened to me. And I got a message back from some of these organizations there. Sir, nothing will happen to you, please come. So I've been there. That's why I thought I will, put this up in front of you. Sorry for this disturbance. Right. The second instance was when I was a colonel. Opajay. Immediately after Opajay, the Lok Sabha elections were held. Right? The Lok Sabha elections were held. We were in Kashmir. I was in a remote part of Kashmir. Went to conduct elections. And when in that part of Kashmir, in remote part around north of Udhampur, there were terrorists operating, but there was no army at that point of time. We were deployed there for some time, conducted elections and came back. And when we went to conduct elections, I could see a change in the people there. I remember still one guy, who was in charge of the water system out there. He was just a pump operator for the village, and we didn't have water. The army, right? So I said, "Look, I need water. We need water." He says, "Sir, just give me a few people, and I'll within an hour I'll get you water." I don't know from where he went and got pipes, this, that, and all. He laid water, came back to me after an hour. I was a commanding officer then. He said, "Sab, Jai Hind, thank you. Um, आपको पानी मिल गया." I said, "Thank you." Then he said something very interesting. He says, "Sir, आप लोग आ गए तो हमारा 1 किलो खून बढ़ गया." I said, "Why?" कहता है, "साहब आपको पता नहीं है कि आप लोगों का यहाँ हाजिरी होने से, because of the fact that you are there, we can get ahead with life." Very important. I mean, very few of us understand this sentiment. And soon after that, elections came. Because we were there, the voting percentage went up to about 74, 75 in our constituency. And people exercised vote. And I don't even remember who voted, but they came. Much later, as a brigadier, when I was in South Assam, same thing. Elections. I was told virtually by the ruling party at that point of time, you should ensure that so and so gets victory, all that. And I very coolly told them back, I said, "If this is what you want, please give it in writing and I'll ensure it happens. Otherwise, people should be allowed to vote the way they wanted." And they voted the way they wanted, and whoever won, so be it. So you saw, I've seen this electoral democracy working from 92 till to date. In fact, why I'm saying 92 till date is the time when I was involved in handling elections and running elections and ensuring that elections were successfully conducted. I've seen these transformations in India from all the Janta time, the National Front, and everything. One has seen it after so many years. And now I see the fruits of our democracy coming. Democracy bearing fruit for India. That two graphs are very important graphs of which I showed. Democracy is bearing fruit, and we will succeed. On that, I have no doubts. Right. Today was a bit of an offbeat kind of a topic. It's just because I felt this was in my heart. I thought I must share it with all of you. Don't fall for all this nonsense which comes out of Western media, which is influential. Don't fall for a lot of discontented elements within India. Don't fall for this communist narrative which says, whatever they have to say. There are a lot of, India is a country of 1.4 billion people. People will have different ideas. And don't fall. Don't fall for this Western values of democracy. Our values of democracy are governed by what our people in the rural areas, the poorest Indian feels. This is one country where the poorest Indian can kick out the prime minister. This is the power which India has and the poorest Indian has. When the time comes, he's the biggest. R.K. Lakshman has shown. And when he exercises, many such common people exercise their vote, things change. That is why in India, no politician can take anyone for granted. He'll be thrown out if it doesn't suit them. Right? And you are seeing other democracies, how they're happening. What's happening in USA today, you see. What's happening in Britain, you see. What's happening in Germany, you see. Right? I think we are far better off. I'll leave it at that. Today evening, we're going to talk of something very interesting. We're going to talk of technology with General Harimohan and Rajiv Narayanan. I've already put out. Okay, how to take our technology research forward, and how can the government's vision be achieved? Completely hatke. right? Because that is connected to something else. So this will be the base on which I'm going to now then talk about those 12 technologies which I believe are critical. We'll go that as it unfolds. With this, I'll take a few questions. I know not many people are have attended. They must be feeling, look, what is this Fauji going to talk about democracy and all that? I've not spoken of political democracies or political parties and all. I have spoken of the common people and how good they are. Right. Thanks a lot, Vijay, for becoming a YouTube member. You're rejoined. Hans, thanks a lot for joining. Akash, also good morning and Jai Hind to you. Why viewership is so less? That's okay. One odd video, if it doesn't do well, I'm okay. But if you liked what I've spoken today and you find sense in what I've spoken, please spread this to everyone. Give it to your friends, like and subscribe. Right. Good morning to everyone. Yeah. All these democracy index ratings are funded by Soros and Found Foundation, sir. None of them should be taken. Yeah, I agree with you, Rohan. They're not taken, should not be taken seriously. But there are enough people in India who do take it seriously, isn't it? So unless people like you and I come and talk of our personal experiences and share our personal experiences and do some logical analysis, how will you get this out of our system? It's the same people that funded the farmers' protest. I agree with you. I'm not saying no to it. Despite being a poor country, Indian democracy has performed very well for nearly 80 years. This is despite having an extremely diverse population. No other country will pull this off. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think as Indians, we should be proud of this. Right. Ashok Gazula, namaskaram and good morning. Thanks a lot. Which country, we know our country has problems, then which country doesn't have problems? We will make our country better. We love our motherland. Yeah, I agree with you. We are the land of Rama, Krishna, Guru Nanak, Gautam Buddha, Arya, and Ashoka. There is just no doubt about it. You know, I always feel that India should be a better India. It should not be a different. It should not be a clone of China. It cannot be a clone of Pakistan or USA. We need to be what we are, and our strength will come when the weakest Indian becomes strong. It tells me Biden and Kamala had messed up things so bad here in US. Our economy is turning around, and our job report show it. These graphs change daily. Trump is putting us back on track. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, look, Ben, it's very simple. You voted for Trump in a hope. You voted for Biden with a hope. I'm talking of America and its people. And why do we vote for a particular politician or a leader? In the hope that he'll give you a better tomorrow. There'll be times when they would not. But when you look at American history, you had great leaders. And that is why America is a great country. There's no doubt about it. But off late, your leadership has not been that great. Many of you have Trump in faith, all the best. If he does well by your country, he's very good. We have reservations about Trump because we have reservations about how will he be good for our country. But that's a different story. That's our perspective. For your perspective, if he has won and if he delivers for you, he's one of our best presidents. I hope so. All the best to you. Yeah, maybe in case of South Korea and Japan, their life is less fulfilling and comfortable than their parents. That is why, maybe, we don't know. But South Korea, if you see, has a history of problems. A lot of corruption in their democracy and all that. And, many of their people have been assassinated. Their leaders have been assassinated, put in jail, all that. They have not had their politics have not had a very great history. That's a problem with the Koreans, incidentally. All these surveys depend on which section of public was sampled. Some of these social scientists do not even translate the survey questions into the. I agree with you. They are the defects, but that's okay. But that's how they believe, and that's how they go ahead. Yeah, Sylvia. Good morning. Thanks a lot from US. You're attending regularly. BBC, New York Times, WAPO, all of them are motivated media racks to moneyed interest. Completely agree. Vested interest, right? And they have their own opinion that they're God's own. That's also a problem. Bharat and its citizens understand democracy. Even the erstwhile Raja, Maharaja, and Samrat always sought the guidance of the Rajguru and the council before decisions were taken. 100% agree. There's no doubt about that. Gamer, good morning. Yeah, Anil Rana, US can print paper and buy minerals, products, best talent in the world. It's a free world for them. They just have to print paper. BRICS needs to press for dollar-backed currency. Let's see how it goes, right? They, to a large extent, you're right. India was democratic even during Mauryan period. We don't have to learn democracy from UK and US, which is still controlled by monarch and bunch of bankers. Yeah, I thought, sir, refrain from talking about politics. Looking forward to today's discussion. Yeah, Arthur, please send this to everyone. I don't talk of electoral politics, but the politics of our country from this point of view we must discuss. We are all citizens of this nation. We should have an opinion. Yeah, sir is talking about Western hypocrisy, not local politics. He's supporting no one or other. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not. I'm not talking of a particular party. Look, it's up to me whether I want to choose DMK, TMC, Congress, BJP, or anyone. It's up to you to choose whom you want. But when all of us exercise our franchise the way we want, you'll get a government the way we want, not what I want. And that's more important than what I have my view. We have once a person is elected, we should be behind him because he is the one who's heading the country, he is the one who's heading the government, we should be behind him. Whether I agree with Mr. Modi or not, I should be behind him. I should be with him. Not for their this thing, because I should be with India, the state in which I live, I should be with Tamil Nadu. The same goes for everywhere. There's a difference between individuals and the state. We are for the state. Yeah, the petrodollar gambit is up, US is collapsing. Let's see how it goes. I mean, I go with you. Whether US can wriggle out of its own predicament is a thing to be seen. Trump is doing something very funny. I don't know whether it'll pay off. Shashi Tharoor says invader came to rich India and made it pure. Completely agree with him. Right. An off-topic question. Would love to see a podcast on Chinese villages. Are people there truly happy with the Communist Party? Let me see. I'll get that going one of these days. Yeah. Hansjo says, Mrs. Claire, good morning. How are you? Namaskaram. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Late 70s to 90s were the worst political years. I agree and disagree. I agree because for those people or those of us who lived through that, it was quite bad. But when you look at it in retrospect, India crystallized. The Indian public grew. We progressed. We progressed politically, we progressed economically. A lot of what is happening today, the foundation was laid there. People don't understand it. Okay. We were poor, but the foundations were laid then on which we are building. So, to a large extent, I think there were good years for India to mature politically, and we did. There is a is there a high correlation between the US war on terror post 11 and the fall of Pakistan, making India? Yeah, there is complete. We didn't sell ourselves to anyone. Pakistan did. That's the thing. The moment you sell yourself to anyone, you're asking for problems. What is US history? Look, I'll not run down their history because that's their history and that's what they are. And they're proud of it. Every country has to be proud of its history. Every country has to had whatever, has to make good of whatever its history is. So we'll not get involved with others' history and what they deem it as their history, good, talk good or bad. Let's be proud of our history. We had, yeah, okay. I was always in awe of P.V. Narasimha Rao handled the liberalization after years of economic uncertainty despite having a weak government. He deserves way more respect. Yeah, completely. I've lived through that times. I've met him a couple of times. Different person. The last yeah, the last election was definitely interfered by moneyed interests that has been publicly exposed. Tell me one election in this country which has not been interfered with by money. It happens. But despite that, India voted the way it wanted. That's the thing. That's the greatness of our democracy. Should we fund some third party organization to publish articles like ranking world safeguards? We shouldn't get involved in all this nonsense. There's no, yeah. Yeah, sir, your words have come true. Pakistan, Khwaja says Pakistan not getting J35 and HQ. They've gone begging to US. They're getting a ton from them. Probably not state of the art, but anything is better than Chinese toys. Yeah, that's bound to happen. Right. Even my parents were elected officials. All gazetted government officials are mandated to do it. Yes. Election officials are who? People are, municipal officers and, school teachers and all these of government schools and all. They are the ones who run the election. Okay, they're simple people. We run our own election very well. Yeah. Sai Autovision, Jai Hind, Bharat Mata ki Jai. Mm, marvelous as usual. Lot of learning. Yeah, it's not a great in terms of geopolitics, but I think in our own self-realization, it's good. Yeah, network issue. No, it was not a network issue. We had a power failure for 2 minutes. It came back. Yeah, there is democracy in DNA of people of India. Democracy is a form of civilization. I agree with you completely. Mm, yeah, Telugu people have been very instrumental in democracy. It was TDP that started the trend of regional parties. 2014 was the Telugu vote. I'll look. My mother tongue is Telugu, but I'll differ with you because this was engineered even before this. Even before this, in Tamil Nadu, DMK came in the 60s, 70s. Oh, the regionalism started then. Okay. And as events took place, you see the Telugu movement happening, you see the Assam movement happening, you see the Punjab movement happening, Akalis. Akalis were there even before probably Dravidians. I mean, the Dravidian parties both grew together at the same time. And then you had this trend of what's happening in Maharashtra. These are all the political experiments and upheavals which happened in India, right? Thakre's party coming up, Shiv Sainiks in Maharashtra. So regionalism has its roots in the 60s and 70s. It started then. Okay, the crystallization has happened now. Yeah, I have worked in many countries. I found 95% of Indian origins who live outside India want to remigrate to India. All the best to them. Okay, let me. The This is true for most Indians past their middle age. The young still want to make their career there. That's okay. That's part of going up and down. Uh, yeah, we are not a perfect democracy, but we are a better democracy than most other countries in the world. I agree with you. That's the point. We have a lot of problems, but we are better than most. We have to be proud of that. You don't have to be the richest to be there. It was an elected autocracy when one elite family ruled for almost 55 years. But after people started throwing up government in successive elections, democracy is stronger than ever. You call it what you want, okay? But the fact is, at every point of time, whenever there was a crisis, the people of India decided what is good for them. The way elections happen in Bharat is a phenomenon. It's an event just like Mahakumbh that no one else in the world can pull off. Seen this as a son of two parents who worked as election. Yeah, I agree with you. It's fantastic. I worked across three elections, made three elections happen. A lot of learning about your India, of our own country. Okay, right. Some might have gone off. That's okay. That's part of life. That's not a big thing. Uh, Salute, sir. Post emergency elections, the so called educated South voted for Indira Gandhi and the so called uneducated North voted against your views. Look, that's our country. You have to accept what people vote. It's up to the people. The educated people felt that Indira Gandhi was the best for her and they voted. The North Indian felt otherwise, they voted differently. And ultimately, we are a mix of some educated people, some progressive people, and uneducated people and non-progressive people. Just accept it, right? It's always a pleasure to listen to your views about interesting topic. I think technology, alternate media has played a very important role there, and there's been a drastic change in working. Yeah, I agree with you. There is a huge change in our democracy. Yeah, still people suffer from the mentality of getting validation from Gora Sahibs. That's stupid. We don't need it. Yeah, analysis are awesome. Don't worry about number of viewers. It'll increase. I'm not worried. Don't. I'm not worried also about that. Pradeep Patil, good morning. Yeah, good morning. And thought provocator. The India is the only democracy which has managed to make EVMs and conduct elections efficiently. Yeah, I think we have a lot to be proud of as far as our electoral democracy and its system is concerned. Yeah, amazing cartoon today. Sri R.K. Lakshman was a giant who pulled up the national discourse. Amazing topic. Thanks. Yeah, I couldn't resist putting R.K. Lakshman up because one has interacted with him a couple of times, like I told you earlier. Hmm. Gandhiji said in the context of freedom movement, first they ignore you, second they laugh at you, third they criticize you, fourth you win. I think that's a good way of putting things, actually, the way you put it. Hmm. We are, yeah, let me see. We are in the fifth 5 year term of Modi, lots of criticism. I'm seeing a movement towards the fourth. Let's see what happens. We don't know. Thank you for this talk on democracy. The citizens must appreciate that the political executive and the government is the people's plug into the government. Voting is important. Yes. And yeah, excellent context setting and realism. Indeed, lots of fluff by vested interests. Yes. Uh, Pew Research graphs are validating India's democracy because of the majority of population is satisfied. Yeah. When do you say democracy is effective? When it reaches to maximum people to elect and people have knowledge about whom to elect? Both. It's a combination. There's no binary in this. You can never find a binary. Democracy is best when people have to choose their form of democracy, and people choose their form of democracy is what is happening to them in their surroundings. And I've seen this. And it will only be a fool who will discount the Indian who doesn't know about this. Yeah, I think you should stop re-uploads and clips. People can look for it and on your channel. It might be affecting. Let's see. How do you think China would have functioned if there was some sort of democracy there? Also, do you see probability of democracy taking roots there? I don't think so. The Chinese people historically are not tuned to democracy. If you see their history, they're not tuned to democracy. And why I'm saying maybe one day I'll talk of them because they maintain too many historical records. They go by records, and they're very meticulous. Their organizations and all are meticulous. They're meticulous. Their organizations are top down, and they're very homogeneous in their thinking. they'll never be democratic. Yeah, China succeeded before because of its government. India will succeed despite its government. I agree. Right. Uh, yeah, looking forward to your techno conversation with Jal Narayanan today evening. Join in. Right. Thanks a lot for all of you who have joined in today. If you like this, just give it to your friend because this is an alternate view. This is a neutral view. But I honestly felt after seeing what Pew gave out that we should introspect. So this is part of our introspection. Are we the best democracy? No. Are we a good democracy? Not yet. The way I look at it, there isn't a whole lot. There's a whole lot of things we have to do going ahead. Yeah, isn't Taiwan a great example of how China will look if it was democratic? No, Taiwan, the population is less, and they were trained virtually into democracy by Americans, mirror trained, right? That's how it was. They had an example, and they copied that. They wanted to be anti-China, so they went to democracy. So you can't put that. Yeah, your video is interrupted and quality reduced. Amazing anecdote. Yeah, look, the point is, I can't, you know, things happen. The interesting thing is there was a power outage. Within 2 minutes, the power came back. That's good. That's a great improvement which is happening in India. Right. Thanks a lot. See you in the evening. Till then, have a great day. And Jai Hind.